Hey guys, thank you for joining me today on this video. My name is Bethany. If you're new to my channel, hello, welcome. I wanted to do a quick video about my story with my varicose vein. If you're watching this video, you probably have a varicose vein, you're considering getting surgery done. I just actually finished my surgery. It's been about 2 weeks since I had my surgery. I just wanted to share some before and after pictures, some symptoms, some things that I went through in my story in hopes that it helps somebody else that is considering getting this work done. So officially what I had done, I have the little pamphlet here from my doctor's office. What I had done was, it's called radio frequency ablation. It's a minimal invasive non-surgical procedure in which a small catheter is inserted into the varicose vein to direct radio frequency energy into the vein walls to make the affected vein seal itself shut. So basically, what the doctors did is they took my varicose vein and they closed off that vein, the problemed area. They used to do what's called stripping, where they literally take the whole vein out. I wasn't aware, but I guess most places do not do that anymore because it causes a lot of issues. This is the newer type of surgery that they do on veins. So I just wanted to share some pictures with you now of my before picture, or my before the surgery, and also me in the doctor's office. You can check it out. So as you can see, my varicose vein on the right side of my leg is pretty big and pretty gnarly. I do not have varicose veins on my left leg. It's only on my right leg. I'm not sure why. My varicose vein popped up on my second pregnancy with my son Micah. It started off on the right side of my calf, lower calf, and it worked its way up through my knee and then all the way up my thigh. I've had 5 pregnancies in total, so with each pregnancy, it just got progressively worse and worse and more painful. I am 35 years old, and typically I'm about 125 pounds. When I was pregnant, I got up to about 155, 165, so I'm sure that that had a lot to do with my varicose vein. And also, when you're pregnant, your blood volume doubles. So that had to do with it. And then also, my mother didn't have varicose veins, but my grandmother did have varicose veins. So I think it must have just skipped a generation and it came to me. I have 3 sisters, and none of them have varicose veins. And I'm really thankful for that because I would not wish them to have it. So in total, I've probably had this varicose vein for about 11 to 12 years. It's gotten worse each year and each pregnancy. We are done having children now, so I figured it would be a great time to get it worked on, and so that I can move forward in my life and not have my little friend anymore. Some of my symptoms, I already kind of covered this a little bit, but a lot of weakness in my right leg. I could definitely tell I'm not a super strong person, but when I work out or do anything, I can just tell, or used to be able to tell, that there was that weakness there. A lot of burning. In the summer, I would have a lot of itching in the vein, and like I said, more burning in the summer. In the colder months, it wasn't as bad. So I was really thankful for that. It seemed to do better. So those are some of my symptoms, and now I want to move on to the procedure and what that was like for me. So my first consultation, when I went to the doctor's office, they actually had me do ultrasounds on both of my legs, just like you would have an ultrasound done on your stomach for when you're pregnant. It was the same thing. It was a little, I don't even know what you call that little thing that you move up and down your stomach, and then they put the gel on, and they moved up and down my legs to check to see what condition my veins were in. And they did check my left leg too, even though there's no visible varicose veins. I think that they were checking mainly to see like if there was clotting going on in my legs, or just basically the condition. I know I already said that. They also wanted to see where the issues were and why my veins were, why they were turning into varicose veins. So they actually found some twisting of the veins up in my groin area, which is very interesting. It's got to be from pregnancy. And I guess that was actually the reasoning behind the varicose vein in my knee, which I think is very, very peculiar. And then they checked the left leg again to see there's nothing going on there. And they also wanted to check to see if the varicose vein had moved into my deep system. I guess from my understanding is that when your vein goes into the deep system, it can cause more issues like the clotting or the ulcers or everything like that later on. Thankfully, I didn't have that in my deep system. I'm really grateful. And actually, I was really surprised because I've had 5 pregnancies that it wasn't in the deep system. So that was the ultrasound that they did. It didn't hurt. It was painless. It took about an hour. And then my procedure was done a couple of months later after that. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the actual day of the procedure. So I came to the doctor's office and they put me in a hospital gown. I went into the room and I stood up on this little chair or this little stool, and the doctor came in and took a permanent marker and marked up my leg, all up and down my leg. I guess it was just kind of like a visual for them to know where the vein ended and where it started and where they needed to make the incisions. They put me onto a table and they laid me down, and they wrapped me in like a hospital blanket cloth thing. And the only thing that was exposed was my leg. And from there, the nurse took a cleaning solution and cleaned all up and down my leg. It was not painful, it was just a little cold. And then from there, the doctor began to make incisions into my leg. And I would like to say that I was supposed to take a Valium before coming to the doctor's office, but because I'm in recovery, I opted to not take the Valium because that was something that I used to abuse. And I was supposed to take a high dose of ibuprofen. Well, having 5 children, I completely forgot. So I showed up there and I was like, oh my gosh. And I didn't say anything. I probably should have, but anyway, I just went ahead and went on with this procedure. And I've had 5 natural childbirths, so I figured I'm pretty tough. I can get through this. And I was fine. It wasn't that bad. So they started to make the incisions. They started at my lower ankle, or a little bit above my ankle. And they went up from there. It was like below my knee, mid thigh, and upper thigh. So I think there was about 4 incisions roughly. And that was definitely the most painful part of the procedure, was the incisions. It felt like little needles going into my leg, and it felt, I don't know exactly what happened because I couldn't see, but it felt like she was putting in little needles all up and down my leg, and those needles were staying there. And then from there, they started to pump a solution into my vein. There was only a couple times during that incision placing that I wasn't able to talk. The rest of the time I was having conversation with the nurses. I was awake. They didn't put me under. They did put some type of numbing solution on my leg, all up and down my leg. And when it became too uncomfortable, it sounded like they gave me more. So once the needles were inserted, they were giving me more of whatever the medicine was to numb my leg. So after they did the incisions, like I said, they started to put a solution. It felt like a solution, but maybe it wasn't. I'm not really sure. But my vein got really, really cold. And that, I guess, was the vein shutting down. They were essentially completely turning it off in all the problemed area. I also wanted to say that, as seen in the picture, the vein really went through my knee a lot. And I guess the doctor said that it was hard to work on my knee because I didn't have a lot of fat on my knee. So that made it difficult to kind of maneuver. So there were a couple times when she was working on my knee that I was like, it didn't feel good. But again, it wasn't terrible. I got through it fine, and it really wasn't that bad. So I feel like I was there at the doctor's office a total about 2 hours. So really, once I showed up and between the time I was done, it really wasn't that much time. So after the procedure, they took a bunch of bandages, or they took first they did white strips over the incisions. They were like a medical grade Band-Aid basically, so that the incisions would stay closed. All up and down my leg, they did those little white strips, and then they wrapped my leg in like a cotton padding. And then from there, they took these like bandages and put them over the cloth, and then they took a compression tight, black compression tight, and they rolled it all the way up my leg on top of all that. And the compression tight was actually, at the time, I really couldn't feel it because my whole leg was numb and cold. But the compression tight was really something that caused a lot of pain after the fact. So they let me lay there for a minute once the procedure was done, and then I stood up. And once I stood up, this is the part I wanted to talk about, is I did feel pretty sick. I felt really weak. I felt a little dizzy. And I would like to say I'm a pretty sensitive person when it comes to anything that's done to my body. So that might not be everybody's experience, but for me, I immediately started to get a migraine and blurred vision in my head or in my eyes. I got kind of nauseous and just felt really, really weak after that. And those symptoms continued probably for the next couple hours. My migraine did eventually go away once I ate some food. When I got in the car, I ate some cashews and I had an apple or something, and it kind of went away. So maybe I was just hungry, I don't know. But that was pretty much it. So I wanted to show some pictures of my leg after the procedure. And then also I wanted to play a video of me right after the procedure and what I was experiencing. I'm about an hour or 2 hours past my surgery, and I'm feeling pretty tired right now, really dizzy. As soon as I got up from the table at the doctor, I felt really woozy and dizzy, and I got some blurred vision going on. But once I got in the car and I had a little snack, I felt much better. My leg is still very numb, so I can't really feel anything in my leg. And right now I just feel like I just want to keep my eyes closed and just rest. Just feeling really weak. So those are my symptoms right now, a couple hours after my surgery. Okay, I just took off my little, whatever the thing's called. And so this is the wrapping. You can see there's like a plastic, like a really thick plastic Band-Aid. This is the white stuff is underneath, and then you can see anywhere that they made an incision. This blue is permanent marker where they marked up where it's supposed to be, and then it comes all the way up to like my groin area. So I'm supposed to take off all these bandages and then take a shower. And underneath, I guess there's little white strips that are supposed to stay on. So okay, I have all the bandages off, which is what I was supposed to do. You can see, like I said, this is permanent marker, but this is where they made incisions. These have to stay on. I have an incision there, and then I have one up here on my leg. Everything looks all wrinkly because I had the little wrap thing on, or the compression tight is the official name. But you can see that there is definitely some swelling going on, a lot of black and blue, minus the permanent marker blue. And of course they did, I'm not gonna go super high because, you know, it's super high on my leg, but you can tell that's where the incisions were made. So all this is normal. The doctor said that there will be swelling and discoloration and everything like that. So I'm gonna go take a shower, but that is what it looks post. And then on my left leg, I don't have any varicose veins on my left leg, just my right leg is blessed with this. So yeah, there you go. So all in all, I felt like it was a really good experience. I did have to wear the compression tight for 2 weeks. That was not fun. Every morning I would wake up first thing, put it on, and keep it on until I took a shower at night. Then after I took it off at night, I would try to do very minimal walking because that's what the doctors suggested to help the healing process. There definitely was pain after the surgery, off and on, but progressively each day it got better and better. And now 2 weeks past my surgery, the only pain that I'm feeling is just a little weakness throughout my whole leg, and I am having some numbness and some tingling and sharp shooting pains in my ankle, which I went for my checkup yesterday, my 2-week checkup, and they said that that's completely normal and that it should go away with time. So now I wanted to share with you pictures and videos of my after shots of my vein after the surgery, leading up into my after shot, what my vein looked like. Okay, so this is my 10-day update. I wanted to show you the bruising on my leg and just where I'm at in my healing process. You can see all my bandages are off for my incisions, which this was the worst incision. This is the one that's caused me the most pain, mainly because when I put my compression tights on, it's very painful, but it's much better now. And then you can see where my vein was, where the green swelling is. That's kind of where the vein was. It was mainly on my knee, which she said it was really hard to work on because I didn't have a lot of fat on my knee, but she did an incredible job getting the vein, and it came all the way down through here. So you can see, you know, there's not really much swelling. It's more bruising, I would say. And then there's an incision here, and then it came down, there's an incision here. And then ironically enough, the most pain that I'm having on my leg is down here. I don't know why. So I have a follow-up appointment on Thursday. I'm gonna be asking her about that, but like right in this area is where I'm having the most pain. Some of my symptoms on day 10 are definitely weakness, tingling. Sometimes I have sharp shooting pains through my leg, but the sharp shooting pain is mainly in my ankle. All in all, I do feel like it's getting less, but it just at random times during the day, I'll just have that pain. So I'm just assuming that because my blood is flowing in a different way, that it's just kind of my leg figuring out what to do now. But it's really encouraging to not see the bulge here, and it's looking a lot more like my left leg. Okay guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope that it helps someone out there who is considering getting this procedure done. I'm hoping to do a 6-month update in a couple of months once my leg is healed a little bit more, just to see how I'm progressing with my healing process. So be looking for that, and have a great day.